What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Listen, we done did it again. We made it another week. I mean, guys, 2026. What can I say about 2026? I'm just glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad we made it. And you are tuning in to Kayak Fishing Weekly one more time as a part of the Serious Angler Network. Listen, guys, I've got to share this news with y'all before we get into the episode. We've got a great guest today, seasoned veteran, phenomenal kayak angler. Most of you guys know him. But before we get into that in this conversation we're about to have, I've got to say this. And I want to apologize to my friends up north because this is going to hurt you guys. It might be a little offensive. I had my first river buzz bait bite this past weekend. Did a little Georgia Bass Nation tournament. Hopped in there. One of my favorite rivers. I'd have to say it's like top three favorite rivers, just because I can break it down so well now. And um, man, did I enjoy that! I caught so many fish on a buzz bait and did okay in the tournament. Not too bad. Your boy did okay. Got eighth place. Dumped some big fish. One was just my mistake, trying to catch a giant fish in some crazy current. The other one just hit the glide and came off. But hey, guys, fished the tournament. We had a good time. Topwater bite was there. And I have to say this. I'm excited because it's Bassmaster Classic week. I will be there. And if you haven't seen on social media, I will be releasing a brand new swim bait colorway with York glides. That's right. A new 7-inch color with York glides. And I'm going to drop the name for you guys right here. It's going to be called Georgia Peaches. But just because it's called Georgia Peaches doesn't mean it won't work anywhere else. So I'm excited for this week. I'm excited you're here. I hope that you're having a great week. I'm not going to waste any more of your time with this intro. Guys, let's get into this episode and let's talk to our boy, Drew Gregory. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in here with the one and only Drew Gregory. And listen, we've been trying to make this happen for a while, and we're finally here. The timing is a little crunched, but dude, Drew, thank you so much for being here. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Just here at the Bassmaster Kayak Series Championship on Chickamauga and Nickajack. So it's a little bit interesting this
Mm-hmm.
year with two different lakes. So it's pretty cool that Bassmaster mixed it up since we've been to this fishery before. Because I was a little bit soured by Chick from the last
Yeah.
championship. Russ and I were sharing water, and he ended up winning, and I ended up uh, not getting 5 fish on the final day and ended up with 4, and I lost 2 7-pounders on that day. And
Wow.
if I just catch either one of those, I'm on stage and probably even win. But it's all good, man, because now we got Nickajack, and I can just wash that bad Chickamauga taste out of my mouth and not worry about
Yeah.
that fishery for this event.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Go
all's
go
good, man.
go try to find that record. That record that was caught the other day.
Exactly. Yeah, like everyone else is going to be on Nickajack. I don't know when this is actually getting posted, but I'm sure the majority of the field will end up on Nickajack just because the
Just because
record
of
was
that.
just caught. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's getting pounded.
Yeah. I had a buddy text me, got a couple buddies out in Tennessee, of course, and Rudd's out there as well. A couple guys text
Yeah,
me. It's like, yeah, that boat ramp that weekend was just absolutely slammed.
nuts. Yeah, it's
So
crazy.
it
It's how fishermen are. If you tell me that you caught the record bass, if you just said, "Where'd you catch it?" and I said Gulf of Mexico, everyone would be fishing the Gulf of Mexico the
yeah,
next day.
Gulf of
So it doesn't
Mexico.
matter if it's
Yeah.
a giant body of water or lake. That's where we're gonna go. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
funny.
There's a shot. You're telling me there's a shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, I wanted to, first of all, man, thank you for being here. I know it's a very important week for you, and I want to go ahead and wish you the best of luck, man. And dude, it's
Thanks,
uh
buddy.
it's always good to see how you're running and gunning and trying to grow the kayak scene. And obviously, with your tournament trail that a lot of people have been just they've just grown to enjoy it, man. It just from the outside, I did one event, Shoaley Palooza.
Yeah.
Um, and dude, it's just fun. It's just fun. I mean, it's literally just kayak fishing. So, tell us a little bit about what's going on, a little bit of behind the scenes. We got some events coming up. The first one coming up here in a couple of
Yeah.
weeks, man. How are you feeling,
Yeah, you
dude?
know, that's right. I'm feeling good about it. The first one's always interesting because it's the first one, and Florida's kind of sometimes it's kind of tough to get people to come down there. But I think for sure, no matter what, it's going to be a great year because last year it just after Florida, which The thing about the series, I'll tell you what's interesting is we do things that aren't the norm. They're kind of off the wall. You know, you were at Shoaly Palooza. It's a little bit different,
Mhm.
the shoal bass thing and rivers and our format. But the problem is like the world hasn't been quote unquote marketed that Chickamauga or Lake Fork or Gunnersville is the place to be. And because they haven't been marketed that Orange Lake is an awesome lake among all the other lakes that were in bounds last year at Ocala, people just this is exactly, it's a great segue. This is exactly what we just talked about. People want
Yeah.
to go where they have been marketed to. They don't know that's what's happening. They're being marketed to and told this is where you got to catch all these biggest bass. Right? But the reality is a lot of these fisheries, quite frankly, stink compared to all these ones you don't know the names of. And our
Yeah.
format, letting people fish all these bodies of water like the Orange Lake last year with all the other rivers and all the other lakes and having 107 inches wind is great when it happens, regardless of how many people are there, because then we get to show people and they like start to trust that where we're sending you, we can't help you catch the bass, but I promise you, we
Yeah.
have the ability with our format to go anywhere we want. And of course, we're going to go to the places that we feel like we're putting you guys at the best fisheries and at the best time of year to be on those fisheries. And then you got to actually go and figure out which, where in this sort of kind of radius. Usually we keep people 45 minutes, maybe an hour away, rivers, lakes, and creeks and ponds, all the above are in bounds. You got to figure that part out. But once
Yeah.
it happens, and once we do this enough times, we're on our third season, I think people are going to start to realize that, okay, you know what? I just trust these guys now. I don't know. I've never heard of these places, but I'm going to go give it a shot because they've been right. We've never had less than 90 inches win an event. And that was only because it was flooded Susquehanna. Normally Susquehanna would have, more than 90, but it was
Yeah.
literal a tropical storm flood. And we let them fish just one day. It was a 1-day shootout before it really actually got flooded. But anyway, yeah. So that's kind of the deal. It's going to be a great season. We go Florida with Tallahassee. We're calling it Tallahassee. You're a
Nice.
dad, so you get it. Kind of a dad
I get
joke,
it.
a little
I
bit, a
get
little
it. I
bit
get it.
cheesy, I guess.
Yeah.
But we had to do it. It was just too perfect. Tallahassee,
Yeah.
and then Lake Talquin. There is our main lake. If you want to, we can touch on some of the main fisheries, but Lake Jackson, Lake Talquin. There's a few other really good ones that. And Talquin's got a new slot limit. I don't know when they started it. Maybe like 5 years ago, but it's
Mhm.
just pumping out just these gigantic fish
Wow.
nonstop. Wasissa, Wacola, the St. Mark's River. There's a bunch of rivers and bounds. The Chipola, which is the only
Yeah,
fishable
the Chipola.
population of shoal bass. So it's going to be a really fun event. And then we go to Indiana, which already has as many entries and registrations as Florida, late April, to a town called Plymouth, Indiana, and Marshall County there. And this one's kind of cool because their counties there are just square. There's like Midwest states are just literally this square. There's no creeks and rivers making the borders of the counties like a bunch of other places have. So we're just letting everyone fish any water inside that county, any lakes, river, and creek that's public. And then a few lakes outside of the county and a river that flows through the county, you get to fish at some out of the county, but everything's like 45 minutes away or less. So that was going to be a lot of fun. And then we had to, it's not too far away from you guys in the southeast, just up in New River, Pulaski, right around Claytor Lake. So that's really cool because Pulaski, Virginia is right on Claytor Lake, but to the north, all the way up downstream, I guess, but north on the New River to basically the West Virginia border. Virginia gets kind of small at that tip. So
Mhm. Yeah.
this town is right there. So when you go north, you get all the New River downstream of Claytor Lake. And then when you go south, you get basically all the New River to the North Carolina border or close enough where if you went from one of our launch boundaries upstream south, you could get to the North Carolina border. So it's kind of cool because we got this big chunk of the New River for the New River revival. And it's going to be a real fun event with some big fish. And then I'll just finish walking through them, I guess. That's what we're doing here. Well,
Yeah.
the next one will be uh, Pennsylvania, which is like
Mhm.
epic, right? We all love Pennsylvania. It gets good turnouts. The Susquehanna River is where we typically go. We went to the Allegheny for our finale, which is called Broodstock every year. So this will be Broodstock 3 this year. But we went to Allegheny. It was epic. And in our format, it actually was won. The guy, again, we kind of promote the fact that you can kind of fish your style. It's choose your adventure, Kayak Adventure Series, and um, this guy won, Alex Miller, with 106 inches of smallmouth.
Unbelievable.
106, dude, scoping.
Yeah.
So the Allegheny was great. But anyway, we're on the other side of the state this time, but not the Susquehanna like we have been for a couple years. This time we're on the Juniata, which flows, into the Susquehanna, and it's a real big river in its own right. But I think people forget about how big it is just because it dumps into a river that's like 3 times its size. And it's
Yeah.
gigantic. It's the Juniata. It's long and big. And we're going there in June. So it's the Juniata Regatta. And it is going to be the perfect time to be there because normally we don't hit those kind of rivers until, like, the big national trails don't hit those kind of rivers until July, August, September, when they're, more of a guarantee they're going to be lower and
Mhm.
clear. But we're like, hey, I think it's June. It's plenty warm. The water will be warm. And maybe we want a little bit of stain. You know what I mean? They're easier to fool when you have a little bit of stain. You can throw the spinner baits and chatter baits and stuff like that, and just smash on some huge smallmouth. So that's cool. And then we go up to Wisconsin the weekend after the Bassmaster Kayak Series is up there. So if people that have the ability to, take off work, or maybe they kind of do this quasi full time, like someone like yourself, for example, that's kind of in this industry, you could go up there, fish the Bassmaster event, and then stay. And our event starts on, Friday. If you guys aren't familiar, the Kayak Adventure Series is Friday afternoon and Saturday tournament. Then you get to drive home, on Sunday. And kind of goes back to what you were saying about the format being just super fun, laid back. It's a little easier for people to get off work on Fridays than Monday. And if you fish a big national 2-day tournament, you kind of have to take Monday off because you're not getting home. Obviously, if awards are at 7 p.m. on Sunday, you're not making it home anyway. So we kind of did it that way, and it's worked out good. Anyway, that's the format. But we'll be up in Wisconsin, and since our event starts on Friday, and really we have a Wednesday welcome dinner, Thursday's opening ceremony. So really, after the Bassmaster event, people can take a break on Monday, a brief break, get right back in it. Just drive an hour further, and then they're right in our area in Marinette, Wisconsin, which is there's a river called the Menominee River that makes the border of Michigan, the upper peninsula of Michigan, and Wisconsin. And that county, it's kind of like the Indiana event. We're kind of letting you fish all the water that's just public in that county, basically, and
Mhm.
the rivers as well, including that Menominee. But you can't fish into Michigan. Okay, so we're hosted by Wisconsin town. So even though the town is right on the border, and that river is right there, and it dumps right into Green Bay. So we're going to let anglers fish into Green Bay, probably about a mile out, no further than a mile. So you're going to have the scopers out there doing their thing on these deep rock boulders and stuff like that. And then the river anglers catching giant smallmouth inland, and there's giant largemouth and smallmouth in the lakes too. So that's going to be our Ashegan's. It's called the Ashegan's Bronze Quest, but every year Ashegan's like the headline sponsor of our main
Mhm.
signature smallmouth event. So this
Yeah.
one's the Ashegan's. We're calling this one Ashegan's Northwoods Bronze Quest. Last year it was what was last year? It was Ashegan's Mississippi. I can't remember what we called that. It was Upper Mississippi River in above Minneapolis, where it's like epic smallmouth fishing. But anyway, that's the Wisconsin event, and then you've got the finale in Clarksville, Tennessee, which is Broodstock 3, and that is called A Journey on the Cumberland, is what we're kind of tagging it. And you're gonna fish the rivers and creeks that feed into the Cumberland and Lake Barkley, and then it should be good. It's kind of central located. Clarksville's west of Nashville, so anybody coming from Missouri or Arkansas or Texas or Minnesota, Wisconsin, it's not as far of a drive. They don't gotta. So it's a very centralized location. So pretty excited about it. So that's the season, man. It's gonna be
Yeah.
cool.
That sounds like a great lineup. For those of you listening, I've like I mentioned earlier, I went to Palooza. So when I looked at the boundaries and everything was going on, I was like, there's no way. And I got to it just you get this sense of freedom, man, and this sense of fun for me anyway, when you're fishing the way you want to, and like it's completely okay. Like, you
Yeah.
know, um, for that tournament, I was in a tributary off of a main river, and it was within play and got to fish my style and what I wanted to do. And a
Mhm.
couple of other guys, this was what was cool, man. I ran into a buddy and I said, "What are you doing here?" I was like, no one knows about this place. He said, I was driving by the side of the road and I saw it. He's like, and it's inbound. So he just went for it. He just sent it. So
That's
I
cool,
love that,
man.
man. Yeah. I
That is
love that
I
format.
love that. And,
Yeah.
that's what
So
everyone says. It's kinda like, well, I thought about it, and I'm not saying anybody else is doing anything right or wrong with the way that
yeah.
they
Yeah.
structure their tournaments, but what I just thought about it when I had the chance to start this, I said, if you and I, Luis, like you and I, before we did tournaments, we would just go out and fish wherever we want to that was public, right? We just fish wherever we want to. There's no, as long as we're legal and doing things the right way, if we're waiting or just kayaking or launching at certain, as long as we're launching publicly, doing all this stuff, like you can, sometimes getting out and waiting is the best way to fish smaller
Hmm.
creeks in certain places, on even on flats, on bigger rivers, shallow lakes. I mean, so many places, Florida Keys, you can get out and just wade, just sometimes it's a good tactic. So there's nothing illegal about that from just a, just a legal standpoint, right? So we're
Hmm.
allowed to do that. So I was like, well, how do we incorporate what's not illegal and is what's a great way to help yourself catch more and bigger fish? Otherwise, we would just be staying in our boats, right, in our kayaks when we're just fun fishing. But why don't we? Because this is more effective. So I said, how can
Yeah.
I incorporate that into a tournament trail? Because let's face it, no one's out there policing all of us on whatever level. There's no marshals or referees out there. It's just the other competitors that are out there. So no one's policing us anyway. There will always be a very small portion, but a portion of honor system that just kind of is part of our sport. And it's not any different than professional golf. I mean, like on the PGA Tour, dude, there's not cameras on everybody every second. You could easily nudge your ball in the rough or say, "Oh, I found my ball. This is it in the woods. Here it is," and then you
Yeah.
hit it out and save yourself a stroke, even at the highest level where they make millions of dollars winning. So why in the world can we just not have tournaments that let us fish, let us kayak fish the way that we really, that
Hmm.
everyone wants to, including offshore with live scope and graphs? There's no reason why we can't. There's no reason. And a matter of fact, I think in the kayak world, since we're kayaks and not boats, we should be doing that because our lakes are beat to death by the bass
Yeah.
boat world and the popularity of that sport. Lakes are always getting worse and worse. They always suck more and more. I know people are going to say, "Oh, it was this lake's come back or this has happened," but trust me, it's all fool's gold. Okay, it's like property value always goes up, right? Slowly. Even though you have some downs and ups, it's always going up. If you hang on to it, it's going to gain value. Lakes will always get worse. They will always suck worse and worse and worse over time because they're the man-made lakes, at least. Like nature's doing its thing. It's silting it in. It's decaying all the stuff that look at Lake Fork and Toledo Bend. They were beautiful, all this timber they flooded, but once upon a time, a lot of other lakes were like that. And someday those lakes will have nothing in them. They'll eventually decay all that. And unlike rivers, which we love, of course, and a beautiful backdrop here, it's nature, like God's way of just like constantly like carving new like out cuts and banks and floods going into the fields and bringing in new nutrients, and then those trees fall, boom, boom, boom. You always get this fresh influx of
Hmm.
nutrients that lakes just do not have, and we kind of mask it by, okay, herring got put in these lakes like Lake Lanier, right near you. So
Yeah.
it looks like it's a great fishery now, but my God, if those weren't in there, how bad would Lake Lanier be if it was just a largemouth fishery? And largemouth have nowhere to hide anymore in that lake, and they don't chase out in the open water very good. They're not as good at it as these Alabama bass are. So we kind of lucked out with that one, if you want to call it that. I'm using a lot of air quotes tonight, but whatever. um, but we lucked out because it ended up using a lot of dead water, a lot of dead space out in the middle of the lake is now helped that fishery become good. And so it's kind of brings it back just to say, like, look, man, we a lot of these tourism departments in these smaller towns and or big, maybe they're bigger cities, but they just don't have one single lake that's at least like 25,000 acres. So they've
Right. Right.
never had a bass boat tour say, knock, knock, hey, we would love to hold a tournament here. Like Lake Talquin is like around 10 or 11,000 acres, just not quite big enough for a big time boat tournament, but it's epic fishing, as have been many of the places we've gone to and will be going to But if we can make this format where we can just kind of fish the way, like you just talked about and led me into, your style, however you want, river, lake, and creek. We always like to joke around with KAS. It's like, it's choose your adventure. We always say choose your adventure is kind of one of our taglines. And the other one is we use a lot is chase the wild, but choose your adventure. But really what I like to say is speaking of like Alex Rudd, he loves the UFC, so him and we talked about, I think this came out on like his podcast, I think, but KAS is sort of like cool how the UFC is cool in the sense that, you got wrestlers and jujitsu and Muay Thai
Yeah.
and boxers. You have all these different styles of fighting, but like now they're together. So who's going to win? Who's going to dominate? Who's going to be able to assert their dominance or is just better at their craft or whatever? This is kind of the way it is. It's like, if you could win if you're a creeker, which is kind of funny. We have new merch on the website with these hoodies. On the back of one of the hoodies, it says, says creeker, and the next one says pond hopper. Then there's one that's called laker, and there's one that says river rat. So it's kind of like you pick which one of those you fall into. It may very well be multiple or all of them, but I think most of us kind of lean towards like one of those things that you just love more than the other. And this format just lets you guys go out and have fun, battle it out, different styles, and encourages filming, which is why we hold our awards at these cool historic theaters. And back to that golf analogy, no cameras are not on every player all the time, but you do have other competitors out there on the golf course, and you have other competitors with you on the water. You don't know where they're going to be. You don't know where I'm going to be in my production team with the drone and things like that, which we were out there last year and had to DQ some people, because they don't know where we're going to be and what we might see. So nothing, malicious, like intent or anything. No one had fish in a basket. No one's ever done that, but some rules were broken, of course. And so, I mean, basically it just kind of comes down to, where was I going? I just totally lost my train of thought. I was talking about about the camera. So the GoPro, right here, I can see it. GoPro, if you use any action camera, you get more money and more prizes, more incentives at the award. So it encourages more people to do that. And if more people are doing that, that's more eyeballs on the water. And even better, what you just said, or people talked about earlier, and what's happened to me, even I was protesting a Bassmaster event. Lots of other people have been either protested or disqualified and claimed they didn't do this or that. Guess what? Just show us the footage. So then what, right? So no one's character's in question. Just show us the footage. I showed my footage to the Bassmaster Appeals Committee, and I got my DQ was overturned. And it, fortunately for me, it helped me also win that tournament and then win AOI in 2022 for Bassmaster. But we just feel like the camera needs to be on for everybody. And it's not even like you have to go and be Luis on social media and crushing it like you've been, man, on YouTube and social media. But you just have it in case we need to see it, or in case you want to get paid a little extra money, win a GoPro with some of the clips that you got. It's not that hard to put a Nocqua battery, get a 256 or 512 gigabyte card, hardwire it, and hit go all day. Yeah, it's easy. It's really not that hard these days. So anyway, but yeah, that's kind of what we're excited about for this year is paying out, because we have a new thing called the Angler's Cut presented by GoPro. And actually, you can see if I share the screen. I don't know if you can see this or not when you pull it in, but this is the schedule, by the way, right there for you guys watching on YouTube or wherever this ends up going. That's the full schedule, and you can click on events to get to that. But if you go to, actually, I may not have it up here yet. Maybe I do. Oh, here it is. Angler's Cut submission. So this is cool right here, because you can go on here, and now if you're filming, you just literally will get $500 on a new GoPro. And this applies to Bassmaster Kayak Series too, not just KS, because I work with GoPro now a little bit, help them out in the fishing side of things. And they, I talked them into, and they love the idea of making this for the Bassmaster Kayak Series as well, sort of like how Bonus Bucks is, for
it's pretty cool.
Toyota. So it's for both of the Kayak Series first, and maybe it'll be for boaters in the future, and have multiple trails that if you give us a great clip, us being GoPro, and for us being Kayak Adventure Series, I guess, when Jake and I are running our events, but you give us some great content, you might not have won the tournament, because how many people do you know that fish tournaments and they don't end up in the money. Maybe they were short a fish or they caught a giant fish or whatever, and they didn't win big bass, but they have had an awesome event. And just you give us a great clip of an awesome fight, something really cool happened, and maybe the fish gets off, and then we still award $500 and a brand new GoPro. It's about $1,000 worth of stuff for the angler's cut, which is like your cut of cash and your cut like edit, like clip cut. So a little play on words there. We have lots of stuff like that. We have one called Unhooked by D Hooker. And if you can actually share the screen again, sorry, I'm going to show you something cool. I'm going to show you something cool we did. Let me pull it up. I just got this on there, so I forgot it was on there. And we're going to clean this website up a little bit. We got a little bit
there you go.
Going on, but bonus and contingency programs. You can see all these are all extra ways. Most of them you don't really have to do a lot for or anything for, other than maybe film. But Unhooked is like you win money just for having a fish come off that, it sucks because you lose it. You don't get credit for that in the tournament, but you might win $500, just for submitting a clip of a fish that comes unhooked. So your pain ends up becoming your gain. If you have Omnia Pro app, it's literally $50 to subscribe, and it gives you all these amazing tools, wind and weather and water clarity and temperature and all the USGS river gauges, and it's like obviously the Navionics. It's like, why not just go ahead and get this for $50 anyway, because you should have it. But now if you're the top placing,
phenomenal app. I can say that app is amazing. Yeah,
that's great. So again, it's not like this is a bunch of extra stuff you got to do. That's a bunch of hoops you got to jump through to win all this extra money. What we're trying to do is spread the money out, which is why this year, I'm going to show you another chart in a minute, but I'll tease it now. This year, the payouts go down to 25% of the field. So you're just coming to have a good time, and maybe you only get $150 back or whatever, but it's your entry fee, and or maybe it's some gas money, and it was just a good fun trip, But the county bounty is if you stay lodge, in the counties that are hosting us, 500 extra bucks. How hard is that to do? Why wouldn't you want to be as close to the festivities as possible? Like you saw at Shoaly Palooza, we had that awesome Bass U brunch on Friday morning with seminars and breakfast. And then, like I said, Thursday, even before that, Thursday, you've got the opening ceremonies, and Friday, the Bass U brunch and breakfast, and Saturday, the awards. Why wouldn't you want to stay in the county close by anyway, right? So $500, you got Toyota bonus bucks, which is awesome. They're part of this thing. You can earn extra money. The cross kicks bonus is this year. It's again, this isn't stuff you guys have to think about it. You're just going to get called out, on stage for a lot of this stuff. But like the first 18 teams, so that's times 2, because our teams are 2-man team. First 18 teams to register for 3 events, which gets you team of the year eligible. You just get a pair of cross kicks. It's like $100 pair of shoes. All you got to do is enter 3 events. And then if you were one of the 2 furthest away at each event that drove from a long way away, we're going to give you a cross country award, cross kicks, cross country, a couple pairs of shoes. So, stuff like that. And if you're a new angler, you'll be in a drawing, and you'll get 2 new anglers will get cross kicks as well. So stuff like that going on. And by the way, if you do need a new truck, too bad Bailey didn't see this before his incidents happened. But my guy up in Kent, the Toyota of Kent near where I live, I'm telling you, man, I'd fly in a heartbeat. You get all your Kayak Adventure Series entry fees free for a year, $250 in gift cards. You get the new vehicle purchase rebate from Toyota bonus bucks. It's a deal, dude. Plus you get the best deal anyway on a Toyota from Mike, and a half-day virtual lesson or guide trip for me. So it's like $4,000 of value, literally, just for getting an awesome new truck. So from Toyota. Day 2 Dark Horse. Again, you don't have to do anything. Whoever makes the most moves, right, the most jumps up the leaderboard after day 1, they are the Day 2 Dark Horse. So you just get a whole Dark Horse Tackle subscription box for 6 months. And then if you want to clean up the bank at all, the AFCO bank bags come with a $25 gift card if you bring it back filled with trash. So again, there's just all these extra ways to make money. New Canoe, if you're in a New Canoe, you can get $500 of gift card to New Canoe, and if you're in the top 3. So this is not nothing. Plus, one I didn't mention or talk about was we now have a new one called the Friday. Whoever is the leader after Friday. Again, I know this is a lot, so you tell me because you're kind of one of the first ones we
Oh no,
ever
no, no.
like really
Hey,
shared all this to. It's a lot, but a lot of it's
listen,
not that really hard.
listen. As long as what you're telling me to do, here's what I hear. Like show up, have a good time, and if you get called out, you get called out. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, hey,
walk
if
up
I'm the
here and
one, yeah, if I'm the one that, because like at the end of the day, man, I think what I see here is like the mindset behind it is you're trying to give an opportunity, like to. Let me say this. Let me backtrack. When I've been at 3 Bassmaster events, okay? And I'm gonna be completely transparent with you and my listeners, anybody. So I wanna make it very clear. I only go if I find a local sponsor to send me. That is the only way I will go, and I'm gonna be 100% honest because I am 3 years into kayak fishing, and there are some absolute hammers like you guys. So when I go, for me, it is a learning experience for me. I know transparently, of course, I'm gonna go give it my best, but I know I will not be there will not be a monetary return. So each event has cost me
yeah,
thousands of dollars. And dude, and again, I'm not criticizing any trail at all. I want to make it clear. People know I love tournament fishing.
yeah,
I hopped in a tournament Saturday. I fished the river, and they cut the boundary off. I was a little sad about that, but I still had a good time. I still enjoyed it. I got to see some people out there. Like, it was still fun, man. But I appreciate what you're doing, because when I've gone to like these long, events, and you can see this in the boat world too. This is obvious in the boat world
hmm
too, dude. I will see guys who are just wrecked for sleep, who have, dude, I saw a
yeah,
guy pull up in like some Hyundai car at Dale Hollow. He had like 5 Wendy's bags in his car. He had pulled up on a Friday. He drove around all of Dale Hollow. He didn't even touch
hmm
water. All he did was look at the boat ramps and then fished Saturday, Sunday. And I'm like, dude, that's tough,
it's
bro.
an investment. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like incredibly hard to sustain. I mean,
very hard.
that is unreal. And
Yeah,
so, for me, like I talk to my wife, I'm like, babe, she tells me, go, like, go. I'm like, no, it's not in my mind. I like to be practical and financially wise about what I'm doing, right? And so,
hmm
um,
yeah. You want to
dude,
go? Yeah, and
yeah,
have fun, and like
it's
at
good to
least
be
know you're gonna have fun
valued.
and learn. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good to be valued. It's good to have a good time, and if dude, if I'm going to travel out, you know, I want to be around, you know, those like-minded people that are going to have a good time. I remember the breakfast we had. That was awesome.
yeah.
So dude, and then again, the
You learn
format
some
coming,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah, coming back on a
big deal.
Sunday was absolutely key. That's huge. Coming back, I know like it's a little
hmm
thing, but that was huge. So, I mean, at the end of the day, man, I think that when you value the people going to the tournaments, when you value the anglers and you present opportunities for them to succeed in different ways, people will keep coming back.
Yeah,
People will
I
keep
think
coming
you're
back.
right. So that wasn't hopefully too much because the Friday leader is the new one, $250 bonus. Again, you don't do anything. You just get called out, like you said. Hey,
Yeah.
you were in the lead after Friday because Friday sometimes people will maybe back off to save fish, but now there's a $250 bonus and it's 5 fish total between. Well, I don't really know why you would back off too much to save fish in our series because it's just 5 fish
It's
total,
5 fish.
like
Yeah.
between
There's, yeah.
Friday and Saturday. So there's no you could win the whole thing on Friday. So,
Yeah.
but even having said that, there definitely like of people who have been the leaders on Friday, but then weren't you know winning or maybe didn't even place or maybe they were just down sixth, seventh, or eighth. But we want to give a bonus to whoever took the lead on Friday. It's just another way you can win a little extra money. We're trying to spread the money out so well and the prizes and money because I say prizes because the first 50 anglers get a welcome bag that's worth $100
Hmm.
of gift cards
Yeah.
and products and in it. So you get $100 for that. Let's say you do the AFCO bank bag, grab one, pick up some trash. That's $25 to AFCO right there. I mean, your entry fee is $150 on the individual division. The team is only $75 a piece. So you can come for $75, you and a buddy, and now you don't get the $100 gift bag isn't just for if you're a team division, you don't get that. But my point is, if you just want to spend 75, you go fill up some trash, get 25 back from that. Plus you got all these other ways you can win, right? Like, and then we're going to pay out down 25% of the field. It's like, at least your chances of recouping, to what you're saying, it's a learning experience and always will be, but you have a little bit better odds, at least, to recoup something if that matters to you. But at the end of the day, I just think giving everyone the best experience it makes the trail, like, no one's going to say, oh, think about like, oh, this was whatever, $500 total, a waste or two or whatever it took them to get there. Right. Because let's say $300-400, whatever. They just fished the individual or just the team division, spend about $350 in gas and whatever to get down there. And then they look back and they're like, wow, that was a ton of fun, a great adventure, a great experience. I'm glad I went, because I would have never gone to the upper Mississippi River or the Susquehanna or all these epic places we send you guys to. And you got to look at it like, what do you get if you win a rec soccer league or basketball league? You get a t-shirt. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you get. And you spend $250 or whatever it costs for, 3 months to play in that league. That's all you get with some exercise and nothing. So if we would look at bass fishing in these events, and I think the format we have and the fun that we're offering and the education and all the, the more ways to possibly get some value back, then if more people looked at it like that, like you said, and took all these little things from it like that, maybe they wouldn't focus so much on, did I lose money? Did I make money? Whatever. And the last thing I will share, because I told you I was going to share one more cool thing, is the payout chart that I did put up there. Because we want to be transparent about everything. We've been paying out this well for 2 seasons, and no one, and when they get their checks, they realize it. But this is our whole payout chart here, if you guys can see it. So,
it's up there,
we actually did tweak it a little bit now, because we're paying out on the top 20% get cash, and the next 5 anglers get prizes or entry fees, which makes the effective payout 25%, right? So, and it tells you guys how much you get. So, but what we did do is, by going deeper in the field this year, the winners maybe don't get quite as much as they would have like maybe last year, because last year we were $175 entry fee. We went up last year from that first season, and now we're back to $150. We don't want this. What we thought, Luis, was we don't want this to get so big and so much about the money that you start to attract the wrong kind of people, if you know what I'm saying. We don't want those people here in our fun, like, Kayak Adventure Series. It's supposed to be laid back and fun. But this kind of pretty much tells you here that once you include the prizes, like the raffle kayak, which we do for charity, we raise money for charity at every event, right? So we're raising it for the American Canoe Association to raise scholarship money for people like whoever, like even Luis, if you want to do it. So just 6-7 people need to reach out to me. And if you want to be an instructor, a certified by the ACA in kayak fishing. So you learn all the stuff, and you can now teach others, and you can, charge them whatever you want to charge for a guided trip / a fishing, safety course, like a skills course on paddling, all the paddle strokes, everything that you guys out there. If anyone's interested, let me know, because I'm paying with the money we're raising, we're paying for more kayak fishermen to get certified so we can save more lives, because we've lost too many kayak anglers the last few years. And it's because we all get these little boats and we think we're fishermen. We're not kayakers. And we think we're invincible with the motors and all this stuff. These things are so big these days. What's going to happen to me? But they can still flip, and you need to understand a lot about safety, and those classes are great. So anyway, but once you include the raffle kayak that we're raising money for, and all the other prizes we give away at the events, so like a $250 yak rod for the top youth, right? All that stuff, it essentially gets to, at 75 field size, we're paying out 197 to 210% back to the anglers. And in cash, we're paying back 109%. So how's that possible? Well, that's just because a lot of the money coming in is from extra bonuses. That's counting like someone's going to win the Toyota bonus bucks, $300 for first, 150 for second. So all the cash is getting paid back from the angler's cut we talked about, from the D Hooker video, from that cool content you guys are getting us. All that cash is extra. It's getting paid back. That gets us over 100% payback. And then if the field gets bigger, up to 200 people, oh no, we're only paying back 96%. That's incredible. So, and it's all right here. And if you guys want to learn more about it, it kind of explains it, how you get to that, because you got to take into account the cross kicks. How much value is that? The de-hooker and the gift bags and all the gift cards and all that. So it's pretty insane time. I don't know how we've been able to pull this off, quite frankly, but we're doing it, and we're somehow still in business and working. And we don't touch the angler's money. It's in a separate bank account. It goes into one. We don't touch it. We hand you guys checks on stage. And it's like, people, I think, over time, respect that. They see that and they're like, I want to go fish that. I can fish them however I want. Awesome. They're going to take me to new cool places. Great. Like, everyone's going to find their own cool reason why they kind of are falling in love with it, but it just takes time to kind of build and get there. So we're getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. You guys, that was going to be my next question to you, man, is, you're juggling a lot. You're doing a lot. Not only that, you're still competing. I mean, you're competing in the classic this week, and
Yeah,
it can be very challenging, man, very difficult. So my question to you,
for
man,
sure.
is what has been the biggest challenge for you in the middle of trying to give back to the community?
Yeah, that's exactly what you just said. That's like the conundrum. Like, the way I've been able to still compete is, so not many people know this, but last year I only had 1 day of practice at every tournament. So I just don't I just don't get much practice, because I mean, you're a family guy, right? So you got
Mhm.
kids
Yeah.
and wife, and I got 3 dogs, 2 kids, and a wife. So probably share love with the wife. I got a wife, 2 kids, 3 dogs. So if
There you
she's
go.
listening,
There you go.
I did the
There you
wrong
go.
order. But I got a lot going on at home, and I want to spend as much time with those kids as possible. That's my main thing. But I'm too also much of a competitor, and I don't want to quit fishing. These
Yeah.
events when I enjoy them. I love it. So what we should definitely give, like, Bassmaster its flowers, because they deserve it. They have a very tough job trying to manage kayak fishing at the elite level. And what I love about it, and why I love fishing the series, is so not everyone at KS is like, has this competitive juice that I do, and maybe some of us do for tournaments, that we love it. Like Bailey is a good example, right?
Oh, yeah.
We love that. That to me is fun. Okay, it's not like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not laugh around the campfire, stay up and hang out at the opening ceremonies till 2 in the morning or 1, like something you might see at KS. This is like, my fun is the challenge on the water. That is also fun. It's a different way. It's not haha fun, but it's more like just challenging fun. So I I still want to compete there, but I have to do it with like less practice time. So, but this is the championship. So even last year on Lake Fork, I gave myself 2.5 days of practice there, and that's pretty much what I'm going to get here. So that's been the toughest thing, is like, I just know, like at Dale Hollow, for example, last year, you were there, right?
Yeah.
That one you
Yeah.
were at? Okay. So
Yeah.
if I had 1 day of practice, if I would have only, like, my second day, as I went and did smallmouth on day 1, and I have some videos that are going to come out eventually about all this, I film everything. So, I have this series in my head. I started it called Against the Current on YouTube. I just never can finish it. So I found somebody that's hopefully going to help me, like, get it finished. But, so I have it all filmed. And on day 1, I went like smallmouth up like a creek, basically. And then on day 2, I knew that it was too small. I would catch the same ones again, or it was just, there's no way
Mhm.
it was going to work. So I said, I got to go wing it on the lake, on a cove that just looks good on satellite imagery, and based on kind of my style of fishing. So I went there. It was flooded timber. I finally found they were bedding like back in the woods. And I found it, figured it out around like maybe noon. And it lines out was like 2
Mm.
something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'd caught some fish already, but and then I had, um, dude, I mean, I like lost a fish, and then I lost several that morning on a frog, actually, believe it or not, and some brush, a bunch of them. Lost a big one though, and then the big bass of the event. There's only 3 of us in this cove. The big bass of the event was like a 23, was caught in that cove by Josh Sharp. He was there too. We were in the right spot, even though I just put the finger down on the map. It wasn't like blindly. So I've done this a long time, right? So I at least knew if they were going to be anywhere, this is definitely where they're going to be. And we were there, all 3 of us, Jake Hepner and Josh Sharp and I. And then I figured out they were in bed. I lost a 20-incher. I hooked her and had her at fodder. Usually, I mean, you get them in on bed pretty easily. but she just barely must have missed it a little bit, and she came off, and then she wasn't going to bite again. So I started finding some other ones. I caught one that was like 16, didn't help a whole lot. I thought it was bigger. Then I couldn't get one to fully commit, and then another one I caught wouldn't commit. And then I realized later when I went back and watched the GoPro footage, I'd caught that fish earlier when blind fishing because it came from the same tree that it was staged up on. And so I bed fished a fish that I'd already caught, and no wonder why I wouldn't ever like actually eat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I left that fish, and finally, then I caught one that was like 17 something. And look at my phone, it was like 7 minutes after line's out, and I had no clue it was that time. And it was just like,
Wow.
And then to the point is the competitor in me. I was so frustrated. I was like, dude, this would have been my second day of practice over here. This is the second place I would have gone, which is why it was the first place I went. If I, obviously I only had 1 day of practice. It was the first place I went on, which was essentially a practice day, I guess, second day of the tournament. So that is what it is frustrating to me, is because I know I could do. Now, don't get me wrong, I got third place in AOY last year. So I'm not like I'm hurting. It wasn't hurting too bad with the 1 day of practice, but I know if I would have just had a second day on, say, 3 of those events, I would have easily probably moved up at least in the standings of those events, probably won AOY. But and I lost a fish on Dale Hollow on day one when I switched to Cast King rods and reels and was sponsored by them starting last year, and I didn't screw my reel seat down tight, and the whole reel
remember.
just pops up.
Yeah, I
And I was
remember that.
like, oh.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's been, you asked me what the hardest part is. The hardest part is trying to balance, like, when I fish tournaments like this, it's a time away. I'm not stressed about anything. I'm relaxed. It's just I get to do whatever I want to do. When I'm working for KS and you guys out there, the anglers, it's like a job. I mean, I'm working for you guys. I'm working my tail off like a server at a restaurant. Doesn't matter what her day was or his day. They are putting a smile on their face, just serving you, making it the best experience you can have at the restaurant. And I don't care how bad of experience it is for me and how hard it is or how much of it feels like a job or a grind it is. I don't care. As long as these 100 anglers or whatever, however many show up to these events, have a great time, dude, I've done all I can do. And that's kind of what I'm there for. So it's tough because I want to do more of this, but I also just really love handing out that money and the trophies on stage and the memories that's letting you guys make. That's what I can't stop either one. So, and then I've got a bunch of other stuff going on. I mean, working on a rod with Cast King that'll be out of iCast, and a lure company I started that still hasn't quite hit the market, but I'm getting pretty close. We got a jig head from Russ Snyder's. That's his signature jig head that he made for us.
Nice.
We got done. That one's already done, designed. So I've got all these other little things going on. And like I said, the wife and the kids and the dog. So it's been just feels like I'm spread thin, but trying my best and grinding as hard as I can while I still have the energy to do so, which it won't last forever. So eventually I'll have to scrap one or the other, but making it work for now.
No, you you pretty much answered my question, and I want to start wrapping it up here and be respectful of the fact that you got to go practice, got to get got to get you rested. It's late at night, but dude, I've enjoyed everything you've said about this series, and I know a lot of people are really getting into it, whether they're competitive or not. They're enjoying it and getting back to the roots of kayak fishing. So, that being said, I want to wrap up with this question, man. And you kind of touched on it a little bit, but if you could just expand for just a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
You could probably just go fish the Bassmaster, and give yourself all the time to practice in the world, and get more checks, get more blue trophies. And I was talking to a friend, who's very competitive and successful like you with tournaments, and they were telling me how much money they'd made with tournament fishing over the last few years. I was like, that is impressive. I mean, we're talking about fishing out of little plastic boats, and that's how much money. I was like, wow. Dude, why did you want to do this? Why did you want to bring this, if I could call it, like a beautiful chaos,
right,
on your shoulders, when you could have just, kept working the Bassmaster, kept getting trophies, kept maybe get AOI 1 year, maybe 1 year take the classic, maybe another year win 2 events. Kind of lay that out for everybody listening as we wrap this up. Why carry such a heavy burden, man?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually, because so I mean, the checks and all that can come from the fishing, like the Bassmaster stuff or
Mhm.
whatever, back in the day, Hobie, KBF, whatever it was. Like,
Yeah.
that's gonna just ebb and flow every year. It's not consistent, and when you got a family, you need a little bit more consistency. And I went to school, undergrad, right here in Cleveland, Tennessee. Actually, got an undergrad in youth ministry and a master's degree from Georgia State University in downtown Atlanta in sports management. A lot of people don't know this, my background. So my actual education and training is to I ran sports leagues for 5 years at 2 different universities. I was the director of campus recreation, and then the assistant director at North Georgia University, and then the director at Lander University, which is in Greenwood,
Mm.
South Carolina. That is where actually Brandon Cobb lives, Bassmaster Elite Pro, and they did not have a bass team then when I worked there, but now they do, which is kind of funny because I left that school and that job to do fishing for a living back in 2009 when I designed the Coosa with Jackson Kayak. That's when I jumped ship and did, as you did recently, right? Full time in the
Yeah.
fishing industry.
Yeah.
So my background and my education and training is literally to run sports leagues. And people out there, it just blows me away. I don't have time to be a talking head person on the internet like everyone out here who's, all the podcasts and everyone out there, but in the bass boat world, especially, is who I'm talking about. They are just like blown away by things that keep happening, like this dual threat fishing scam and scandal, or all these other leagues that
Mhm.
come and
Yeah.
go and that claim this is going to be free entry and all that. And it's like, and this may be wrong, and I'm not. I mean, dude, Bassmaster does a great job. They're obviously the top dog in our sport. But honestly, dude, I don't know if there's anyone there. I don't know if there is that has even education what to the level I do and what I've done with the history that works there at Bassmaster. So my gift sort of to the bass fishing world, or the kayak fishing world, is definitely like, hey, look, I know this is why I got into a kayak, to fish these remote wild places, because I wanted to access water that boats couldn't get to. And it's just more fun. It's public water, it's legal, there's bass in it. Let's go fish it, right? Because the lakes are getting so overcrowded, they're getting worse and worse and worse, like we talked about over time. This is like the next frontier. This is we don't have control of our playing fields in our sport. That's the sad thing. We
Mhm.
don't have control of them. They were
Yeah.
first built for power and water, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Then third, recreation, boaters and jet skiers and all that, not fishermen. There's a few lakes out there that the fishermen do jump the recreational boaters, like your Lake Forks and maybe Gunnersville, places they let the grass grow,
Yeah.
and they actually
Yeah.
they just flooded the whole lake and didn't chop all the trees down and clear it, right? So there's a few, but basically you get my point. We don't have control of our playing fields whatsoever, and they're getting worse and worse and worse. So anyway, I thought, well, the next frontier is going to be all these wild places in the kayak fishing. And if we lose the identity and the ability that you and I talked about, this is a full circle, great way to end the show at the very beginning, is just fishing like our style. If we want to wade, we wade. If we want to fish river, creek, lake, it's launch wherever we want to launch publicly. This is how we kayak fish. This,
Mhm.
before there were tournaments, this is just how you kayak fished. And this
That's
is
right.
still how people kayak fish when they're not in tournaments. But where in some weird book in the sky does someone say, well, for a tournament, you got to now do it this way? And it's like, wait a second. Why? There isn't a reason why. It actually works better if you're unique. And I think you're super unique in what you do, and you've done a great job at like marketing and promoting yourself. And you're onto something that I don't know if you realize you're onto, but whenever you find what makes you unique, like Ike, okay, he's
Mm.
breakdancing, he's screaming, yelling. Okay, he did that a little bit at the beginning, but then all of a sudden he realized, dude, this is what is getting me noticed. So I need to like be bigger, louder, and even go 10 times harder in that direction. So whenever you're a brand out there, if you guys are listening and you are wanting to build a brand for yourself, or you're going to start a brand of some business, doesn't matter what business, find out whatever makes you special and unique and go 10 times harder in that direction, and you will stand out so much better. And so for kayak fishing, I feel like we were going to the opposite direction. We were trying to conform into this little box. The bass boat world said, this is how tournaments are done. And it's
Yeah.
like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
Race
Dude,
guys learned this today. Yeah. Yeah. Cut me off, Vic. You
let
got
me
a
add to
point.
that. Yeah, let me add to that. One thing I do not want to do, I do not want to follow the bass boat world. I want the kayak fishing community
Yeah.
to blaze its own trail.
Yeah. They're doing
And
great as they are.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're
So,
doing
and
great.
the
Let them
thing
keep doing their
is,
thing.
boats are boats and they have their unique and specific advantages, like running 70 miles an hour. We
Yeah.
will never do that. And that is why I would rather go. I can cover more water in a river. I can do more damage, learn more, fish better.
Mhm.
Get away from the wake boats and everything. We don't have the stability. We don't have the space. We can't carry 5 screens with us. Of course, there's a lot of great anglers in the kayak community who can fish lakes really well. But at the end of the day, man, what I really want to see is that for kayak fishing to just blaze and carve out its own
Right.
path, its own uniqueness in the fishing industry. That's what I would love to see.
I agree. And that's kind of what I think this is, man. And what's cool is these tourism departments love it because we get to highlight all the resources they're already marketing and promoting. Like already, like if they're a county in a state that has a lot of lakes and rivers, guess what? Go to their website for tourism. Guess what they're highlighting and promoting? Their lakes and rivers and the
Yep.
creeks. And
Yep.
that's what they're marketing. So when I knock on their door and I say, "Hey, I would love to I'm just basically just like feeding into the truth of what they already know that their county is blessed with beautiful lakes and rivers that have great fish. So I just want to let the rest of the country at least be aware of this. And then we go out there and you guys smash tons of big, awesome fish, however you want to. And then we of course share those results and bring you on the stage in these cool historic theaters and usually mostly at theaters. Tallahassee will be at a little barbecue place, but anyway, it'd be a nice little stage there and some TV screens. But you
Mhm.
get the idea. It shows it up for everyone, and then we blaze our own trail. Just go 10 times harder in the kayak direction because like they're doing a great job in the bass boat. They don't need us to just make
Yeah.
their lakes even more crowded. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
we don't need
nothing
to
wrong
we
with
don't
going to them
yeah, we don't
sometimes.
need to
Big lakes,
piggyback
that's fine.
on.
No,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
we can go to we can still go to these even KS. I'm saying I can still go to I don't know Toledo Bend
of
or
course.
whatever these Champlain. I can still do that, but anytime I go somewhere, it's probably going to have like some other bodies of water into it. So it's not. I also want beginners and intermediate anglers to understand like they see Christine and Russ and like Jody and like Abby, other some of these Ewing was at Susquehanna. Some big names fish the KS every once in a while. They'll pop into an event because they
Mhm.
just want a laid back event to have fun and not like no pressure. Not a big. This isn't a big Bassmaster event. They want to just have a fun event. Yeah, if they win some money, cool, whatever. But I mean, I guess the point is that I totally lost my train of thought again. But you get what I'm saying. Like if you just are an average angler, you have a, I guess what I was saying is you have a chance you can see how long, dude, I've been in the sun. I don't think I've showed you guys this yet. I am sunburned here, dude. But,
A
that you
man's
have
a
a chance to
lobster.
win. No, like even against the big names is what I'm saying. And even if a big name is in the event, they can only take up one spot. You know what I mean? And you have a chance to
Yeah.
learn from them, meet them, and a chance to win because even if there is a fishery that they've fished before, because I know a lot of people, and maybe that's what you were saying earlier. There's a lot of these big names in these tournaments, but then you're thinking, I'm probably with how many of those big names are here, plus they've already fished these lakes
Mhm.
many, many
Mhm.
times, and they've all
Yeah.
spent a week there every time they fished a tournament there. So now they're up to like 30 plus days in these bodies of water. I mean, what shot do you really have? But you give on a 2 day tournament with 10 fish, but you give intermediate and beginner anglers just 5 fish and a day and a half to figure it out or correct their mistake on Friday and you give them some bodies of water that even these top pros have never been on before, so they don't know it. It's new to them, which is kind of where we go. Now we're talking like the Juniata tournament. Our boundary downstream is the upstream boundary for Bassmaster, so it's all fresh water. So no one
Yeah.
can just go to history, and that helps give you guys that are beginners, intermediate, like a little bit of a little hope, little chance to. But again, we don't have a ton of
Even
like
playing field.
yeah, we don't have a ton of
Yeah.
top dogs. You'll have a few, but hey, nothing better, like you said, than coming to these events and learning from them and meeting
Mhm.
them. And you follow them online and social media and YouTube. Might as well come learn and you have a chance. Like Ike when he fished that first Hobie and I beat him, it was cool. I was like, hey, now I had a chance. It's like you can look at it as an opportunity also to say I beat Ike. You know what I mean? And and that's kind of cool. So you can say I beat Christine or I beat Drew, or I beat Russ or whatever. Well, you can't beat me, I guess. I don't fish KS, but you could beat there's other guys that come in there. So they will get you to another one of these times. Your Bailey can hopefully come to one.
Yeah,
If
dude.
if it works out. But let me know. We've always got a little extra possible lodging and stuff. You guys hit me up, man. If you want to make it, cover it from a media perspective and just have a good time, we'll make it happen, bud. So
Yeah, yeah, dude, I'd love to, and I'm talking about it with a couple of buddies that are some river rats, so We'll see if we can
All
make it
right.
happen, man. But yeah, dude, dude, thank you so much for coming on, man. Dude, good luck this week at the
Enjoyed it.
Bassmaster, man. I will see you up there probably, and it'd be good to shake your hand and
Yeah,
see how
buddy.
red you are, bro. Go
Yeah, I gotta
put
put
some,
sunscreen on
yeah,
tomorrow
put
because
some
I
sunscreen
was
on.
Bailey saw me. I was not supposed to be out there as long as I was. I went in this one little spot. I was in this little creek, just kind of piddling around, and I was gonna be in the shade most of the day, and it was cloudy in the morning. The next thing you know, I just
Sun,
stayed out way longer. I
sun.
was gonna move to a different spot. So, oh well. But yeah, thanks again.
Nah,
I'll
man.
see you at the classic, and I'll
Yeah.
see you guys here listening and watching. Hopefully at a KS event. So see you.
Hey, get some rest, brother. And we'll see you soon, man. Thank you. So, did you guys enjoy that episode? Did you guys enjoy that conversation? I really hope so. I feel like it was meaningful. I feel like we got to learn a lot of new things about what Drew's doing. A lot of interesting things over there with the Kayak Adventure Series. I think they're good, and it's just good to know that there's options available for everyone. And guys, if you want more information, I will leave the links down below to the Kayak Adventure Series website, the pages. Remember that we are a part of the Serious Angler Network. We've got the Lure Lab out there. We've got Serious Angler podcast. Make sure you tune in. We've got lifestyle apparel. And if I haven't said this already, thank you, because if you weren't here, if there were no listeners, then who the heck would I be talking to? You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you guys. And it's warming up all over the country, and I just want to pause, and I just want to say this, guys. I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know where you find yourself today, but I pray that you'd find comfort in knowing that it's warming up and you'll get to hit the water soon and make memories and catch incredible fish, see some beautiful scenery, whether it be a lake or a river. Listen, I want to just motivate you. Get outside, find some time to touch water, touch grass, and enjoy your life. Guys, thank you so much. I hope you get to send it this week.